Started. I delete the other VOD.
We need to add timers.
Bombers. Alright, so here's the thing, alright? Everyone meet up in its corner. So, okay, Yori, here's what I'll fill you in on what I just told Barbara, okay?
Yep.
So, there's some logic pathways that you need to understand, Yori.
Okay.
You want your accels to be as fast, or to hit as early as possible. Do you understand the 3 stages of a swing?
Yeah.
Wind up, early release, active release. Do you know the difference between early release and active release?
Early release should be a non-late pause, right?
No.
It was the early release when the first tracers come out.
No. Alright, so pay
It's
attention.
when he grunts, but the tracers don't actually do
So watch
damage.
this. So watch this, right? So you see when my hands are going over my head?
Yeah.
This is called wind up.
Yeah.
Okay. And at the very end of wind up, there's a portion that's unfaintable, but it's still called wind up. Now the moment my hands, watch, I'll slow-mo it. The moment my hands, oh, pay attention to my character model, okay?
Alright.
Oh my god. Let me go 0.1. Alright, so watch this. Wind up, 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 wind up. Early release, early release, early release, early active release, active release, active release. Okay?
Okay.
So early release is after the wind up, but your weapon cannot do damage.
Yes.
Okay? So for example, if I go like this, this is early release. See how I'm hitting the wall?
Yeah.
I can't hit you with this attack, right? Like, I can't do that to you, because that's early release. And early release still has tracers that are parryable, I think, but can also collide with terrain, but they can't do damage to you, okay?
Okay.
So, in order to have a perfect excel, what needs to happen is you need to hit someone the moment your weapon can do damage, aka the moment early release turns into active release, okay?
Okay. Well, I think I know how to do that.
Okay. So, I think, and it's kind of objective fact, that the best attack to do this on is an overhead. Because an overhead is perfectly designed by Crush to, the moment active release, the moment my weapon can do damage, I'm hitting you instantly, right? This is a perfect excel, okay? That's why it doesn't matter if I crouch, it still is a perfect excel, right? That's why there's no difference between crouching and standing up, is because this is a perfect excel, okay? Now, the perfect excel for the LMB looks like this. Okay? Do you see this happen often in duels?
No.
A more practical version might look like this. Right? And you might see this in duels. But here's the thing. This attack is not good, and I'll tell you why. So run into my attack. I missed. Now let me try to drag you and parry. I get parried instantly. You see how there's no options? There's literally nothing I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, it is objectively, in my opinion, this overhead is the absolute king of excels because it's neutral and I can drag it with ease. Watch. Try to run into my attack. See how I can drag it like this and like you have to fight for it? We'll get to that later, okay? But just know that the overhead is the best excel in the entire game. Look down point blank, right? So, if the overhead is the best excel that hits the fastest, by definition, the overheads have the best feints and the best drags, okay? Because the earlier they parry, the easier your drags are, the better your feints are, right? For example, if I were to do this on you, and I were to mix up feinting with this would not work. Do you know why? It's because I'm not hitting you early, right? You can easily react to this attack and this feint, okay? So, what's important is you want to have the fastest possible attack, and the fastest possible attack is this overhead look down, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where Parv and I was at. Now, you have to trust me on this one. I played against Kronk the most out of anyone in the world. I played against the top players extremely a long time, okay? You have to trust me when I say this, okay? You have to like put your blind faith in me before you practice it yourself, okay? This feint right here is not readable by any man, woman, or child, okay? There's not...
Let me try.
Okay.
I agree, yeah.
Okay. It is not...
Let me
okay.
try that. Let me try that.
Okay, okay, Parker. Okay, it's not readable by any... You have to trust me on this one, okay? So,
No,
Yori, I see a lot of people, when they duel, like, the super good readers, okay? They do a feint like this. Right?
Yeah.
And not only is this a bad feint because it's an LMB, but they're not threatening the Excel. If you wanted to threaten the Excel for a feint, for an LMB, you'd go something like this, right? Because this is, you know, the perfect Excel, right, for an LMB. You would not, like, these neutral feints where you, like, you have them head level and, like, you might do a little swivel, those are complete garbage trash, and that's the reason why when people feint Kronk and Shaw's and Coco and Wolf going like this, they just get kicked, okay? Because that's not a good feint. You have to trust me. There is not a single man, woman, and child who can read this feint right here. Okay? If you do that feint and someone is intending on parrying, they will get hit every single time. You have to trust me. Okay?
Yeah, I trust you.
The important thing is I don't know your guys' weapons, so I'm going to demonstrate with this, okay? We're all going to use pole hammer. So, for the overhead feint, what I do to make sure my feint is perfect is I use the visual indicator that the game gives me. So, the perfect feint is when my left thumb crosses my screen. So pick up the pole hammer and do an overhead. And pay attention to your left thumb. When your left thumb crosses the screen, you have to do a right overhead, Yori. Right overhead. When your left thumb crosses the screen, that is a perfect feint, okay? Once you practice the indicator and you know you're doing a perfect feint, it will help you out a lot. Alright, give it to Parv. Alright, so Parv, do the right overhead and pay attention to when... Are you guys 240?
I am hybrid.
Because you guys are like accidentally doing that. But do you see that? Are you guys noticing your left thumb?
Yeah.
The moment your left thumb crosses right, that's the indicator that I use. Okay, so that's how I know my feints are perfect. Okay.
I'm doing that right.
So how do you know? How do you know based off the other angle?
That's a perfect thing.
I'm sure. Well, you can use the indicator to get the timing down for muscle memory, but I'm sure there's another indicator for the left side. But I don't use left sides. Okay. So now that we've established that there's not a single man, woman, or child who can read this feint, right? What's stopping us from just feinting someone and just killing them over and over and over again?
Chambers.
Chambers, right, correct. Now, here's the thing, okay? Neutral attacks are complete trash. And you might be saying to yourself, not only are neutral attacks suck, but pole hammer sucks. It's only 475 release, Yang, and the turn cap is trash. Here's the thing. We're not trying to hit around someone's parry. We're trying to hit around someone's chamber. And any weapon can do this. Watch. Try to chamber me, Parv. You can move into it if you want. Back up, Yori, back up. You see this?
I'm seeing it.
And here's where the beauty of the overheads come in is I can go from perfect Excel to micro drag. I'm not trying to like giga drag you, Parv. I'm not trying to like, you know, I'm not. This is the beauty of it, Parv. This is the beauty of it.
Alright,
is
I got a question for you, Danny.
How far are you
Okay.
dragging out? Are you just going like?
I'm micro dragging you.
So this whole game theory, is it strictly overheads only?
Yes, I only overhead. Although sometimes, I mean, obviously this is just for duels, right? Obviously you want to LMB in team fights and stuff. But you know, every time you 2v2, 3v3, 5v5, you're going to like there's going to be these mini duel scenarios, and this is where this comes in handy. And I do also think that underhands are pretty good, but I don't have the same success as the overheads. But they're better than LMBs.
Okay.
But here's the thing, Parv. Here's what I'm trying to say. Is there's no such thing as a perfect drag. Okay? One type of drag may only work when you run into it, and then the moment you hold S, that exact footwork, that exact mouse movement does not work. You know, like someone might be really good at waterfalling, and then the moment they do a different footwork, that waterfall no longer works. And you're like, oh man, like I kind of have to guess on what footwork they're gonna do, right? This is the beauty of my game theory strategy, is it works no matter what they do. Because I'm not trying to drag around your parry, right? Like, if you run into my riposte drag, what do I have to do? I have to super pull it out. And then the next attack, you might run away from it. And then when I pull it out, I miss. But the beauty of this is I'm literally micro dragging you. What that means is, like, I'm not over dragging at all.
Did you tell Wolf this?
So if you
So
Parv,
you're rendering drags. You're saying drags are complete like dog shit. You're only going for accels, feints, and micro drags. Like you're only trying to go around someone's chamber.
exactly. I'm not trying to go someone around someone's parry. If someone thinks I'm going to excel, right, and they parry, watch, just try to parry my micro drag.
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna hit you. I will not hit you unless they like super fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine.
Yeah.
Because we'll get to this later. But every time you do something, I'm gathering information. Okay. But that's the drag I do. Okay. Yeah, I do the micro drag, and if you try to run to my left, in chamber to chamber dash me, I always hit chamber. No, run to my left. I always hit chamber dash every time because like I can just react and then hit them on their toe like this.
Yeah, because you're just micro dragging them.
Exactly. If I were to try to over drag, right? Watch. See, if I were to try to over drag you like this, I might miss because that drag tries to get around people's parry. I'm not trying to get around your parry. I'm trying to get around your chamber.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You're trying to render chamber useless.
Exactly. So here's the thing. When people chamber, okay? What are the two scenarios that can happen? Either A, you get hit.
Chamber.
If they gamble you, like a lot, I don't know why, but when I played the game, everyone CFTP'd, and now only half the people do. It's retarded. So like I will genuinely,
now, like, everyone in those CFTPs.
I will genuinely like hit half the people with just like they try to chamber me and just get hit. Period. Right? So if they try to chamber me and don't parry, they get hit. But here's the thing: if they CFTP,
You win 30 stamp.
35 stamp gone. And this is the beauty of it is. If I guess right twice, I win on stamp versus like a
no matter
riposte.
what you do.
So like Coco was like, "Oh, your strategy's dog shit. I'm just gonna go maul and I'm gonna riposte you." And I outstammed him a lot. Not every time, because sometimes I guess wrong. But I outstammed him a lot because here's the thing: if I get 2 feints off, you die. If you CFTP twice, you die.
You die.
Right? All I need to do is guess right twice.
Okay.
That's the beauty of the pole hammer.
I'm not understanding what you mean by guess. Right? Because you just if
Right.
you're micro dragging, you win.
Well, the thing is if I go for a feint and you chamber, then I guess wrong. Right?
That's true.
And if you go for a chamber and I micro drag, you guess wrong. Right?
Yeah.
So these are the 3 attacks. I only do these 3 attacks. Excel, feint, micro drag. Those are the only 3 attacks I do in the entire game in duels. Those are the only 3 attacks you need.
So every time you duel someone, that's all you do?
That's the only thing I do because that's the only thing you need. Does that make sense?
So, here's the thing. Did you tell Wolf about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Because that's all he does.
I don't think so. Wolf said that. Wolf agreed with me that this is probably the best strategy, but he says it's too boring for him.
It is boring, yeah.
I mean, it's boring, but it is.
It works.
I think the best way to play the game. And the reason why, so some people are like, why don't you do a couple ripostes or maybe a couple underhands or some LMBs?
But you don't
I-
riposte.
It's not reliable.
I just want. Yes, I don't. I never, ever, 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 ever riposte.
It doesn't
And-
riposte because it keeps the same exact animation each time.
So, some people like 8man were like, "Whoa, don't you get kicked?" All right, so stab me and then mash kick. If I excel, I just win. Okay. I mean, there it is. That is win.
So what if they bait kick? What are you doing? You're gonna parry, right?
Why don't I just excel him, right? Like, give me a stab. Bait your kick. Yeah. That's all I do. But yeah, I never riposte, right, Barb? Because that doesn't make sense. But I only do those 3 attacks because those are all you need. Like, legitimately, those are all you need. Because all 3 of those options cover everything you can do. And I know what you're saying is a lot of people have this option. Well, what if you jump, right? So if you do the Stoutlaw jump chamber on my micro drag, I originally wanted to do sky drags to counter jumping, right? But then I just gave up the sky drags and just do easy 2-1 chamber. So now what I do is do the jump chamber.
Okay.
I just run away.
Okay.
And I can just react to people like this. Just run away. And usually,
Will I ever be able to hit you? Let me see.
usually it's my initiative after.
Wonder why it's hit. Okay, so it's kind of like it depends on how quickly you get to get away.
Well, do it again.
Okay, I think you just lay chamber.
Yeah, I'm on like next ping.
Oh shit, you are.
Yeah, my ping spikes at around the late hours.
Okay. So, so what are the 3 things that you do, Parv, that I do for game theory?
Overhead excel, overhead feint, overhead micro drag. Non-riposte.
Okay, great. Now, so here's where game theory comes, alright? That's just a playstyle. This is where, so game theory is the mathematical exclamation of how to win. Percent chance of winning, right? Statistics. Now, you're going to want to pay attention to this, Shuri.
Gotcha.
There was thousands and tens of thousands of rock, paper, scissors matches, right? Analyzed. And what people found out is, when people win, they do the same thing again. And when people lose, they do something different. Okay? And I'd say 80% of the Mortal Comp players don't have cogs running in their head, and they will follow this principle. For example, let's say I feint you. You parry. Right? I get the free hit. You're 1 hit to kill, right? Because I'm Pull Hammer. 8 out of 10 Mortal Kombat players will chamber the next attack because they're like, oh my god, this guy's feinting, I'm gonna chamber, right? He just did a feint, he's probably gonna do it again. So then you feint him, hit him, and then you micro drag him, they just eat it, 2-piece. Probably 8 out of 10 players that will happen. I'm not kidding.
Wait, say
And
that
then
one more time?
8 out of 10 players, this works, this game theory idea works where you just keep doing a different option every time if it didn't work. Or if it worked, you just do it again and you do something different, it'll work. So I feint him, right? Hit him, and then micro drag the next one because I just feinted last turn. And it's the same principle the opposite way. I micro drag him, they CFTP, the next attack, feint. Okay? And this actually has like extreme comeback potential as well. So like, let's say you're 70 stam and I'm 30 stam. You have to chamber me, you have to guess, because I could just feint you twice. So then you're like, all right, I'm gonna chamber. I'm up 40 stam. Oh, now I'm up 10 stam. Oh, now I'm down stam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With 2 attacks.
Yeah.
And this is why I use Pull Hammers, because I only need to guess right twice, and I win.
Okay. That's interesting.
Oof.
I'm gonna toggle damage real quick to pull out a Pull Hammer.
Alright, you ready? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So, I taught this to a whole bunch of people, and some people just don't do it because they think it's boring. But there are couple people like Drez who have adopted it, and they do really well for everyone else. But the key is just. Oh, remember what I was saying about like I don't want a response because everything is a No, stop. I forgot this a little bit. Yeah. Here's the beauty of it. Every time I attack, I'm gathering information. So there's people who I love people who do this to like Peony, right? I love dueling Peony so fucking much because when I gather information, he always does the same exact thing next turn, right? So what I mean is you need to be thinking about this when you're playing this playstyle. You can't just like AFK and turn your brain off. You need to constantly be a thinking man. You need to have cogs in your brain that are turning, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like my general thought process, right? And this is why I only do 3 attacks, and I only like doing 3 attacks is because everything gathers information. So, for example, Parv, hold on, let me turn off damage. Let's say that I do this. Oh, sorry, I do this, and you either late parry or late chamber, right?
Okay.
I can see with my eyeballs that you just late chambered me, and that's why you got the chamber off. So next attack, I'm gonna hit you with the EXL because I don't want you doing the same thing again, right? And I swear to you, against most people, they'll do the same thing. Okay. So let's say I do this, and you just don't react, or you kick me. I'm thinking, okay, this guy's disrespecting my XL. I'm gonna XL next turn. I'm gonna hit him. Right? You need to be constantly thinking like this. You don't just want to do like random shit. You want to read your opponent's patterns. Okay. So let's say I do, this, and he parries. The next turn, I'm going to try to do a feint because he just parried that last one.
You're gonna try and do a what?
A feint, sorry.
Okay.
And then here's the thing, right? So you know what I'm saying, right? So like, let's say I do this against someone and he doesn't react. I'm like, this guy is gambling, because I know for a fact that there's not a single human being on Earth who can read this feint, right? So if I do this against someone and they don't react, I'm like, he'll eat my next XL. And I have so many videos of that happening.
You're like,
where I'm
he's
like,
fake reading.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, he's not reacting. Boom! He gets hit, and he's like, "Oh my, red parry!" I'm like, no. Like that's not how the game works. You're just like fake reading. You know what I'm saying? Bro, red parry. Yeah, the hardest part of this strategy is the micro drag. The second hardest part is getting the feint down first. The XL should be brain dead easy.
Here, let me try it again.
I'm thinking that the feint might take you like maybe at most like 1 day to master. But people do. Oh, and you have to be as face-like as possible, ideally, for like the perfect feint. That was a good feint from Dory.
I messed up. I didn't, what's it called? I didn't, excel him.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to think. Yeah, you have to be constantly thinking because everyone plays differently, right? Some people genuinely think that they can read. Some people, don't try to read in chamber. You know what I'm saying? So if you need to be like, oh my god, wait, my feint didn't work. He's faking this XL the next turn. You know what I'm saying?
Man, turn the damage on all this shit.
Well, damage is
You're not supposed to pass. Oh, this is. So I see why it works, Yang. I think the only issue with it is that, like others say, it's.
Well, I think winning is fun, right? Like, I will do the most boring thing if it means that I win. Because I think winning is the most fun in the game.
No, I I get what you're saying.
And you know, you can just like jack off and play like Squire, Poleaxe, and Screams. You don't need to always do this. But
I
like,
want to beat somebody.
yeah, if you wanted to beat someone in a person, then I think this is the best way to do it.
I agree. I think you're.
So here's something. All right, so turn off the video if you haven't fired, because this is like secret information. I'm not sure if I want to like get this out here in the will.